Welcome to the Inject Creativity live show. My name is Rob the Robot from the Adobe Education team. This is a free online show for primary, secondary and post-secondary educators interested in enhancing digital literacy, communication and creativity in the teaching and learning process. Here is your host, Dr. Tim Kitchen.
And we've got Juliette Bentley with us as well, which is rather wonderful, and we'll explain more a little bit later. But if you watched the last episode, you know exactly why she's here. Welcome to the Inject Creativity live show, a show based on creativity in all education with a focus on Adobe tools and resources. I'd like to welcome our special guest, co-host for this episode, Adobe Master Teacher for Apac, Juliette Bentley. Welcome, Juliette.
What, Jess? Yeah. Hi, Tim. Thanks for inviting me to join you to be part of this episode and to be co-host. And a special welcome to everyone who's joined us live and those watching on demand via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel or the Australasian Adobe for Education Facebook group. For this, the 67th episode of the Inject Creativity Live, being recorded in June 2022.
Juliette, thank you for stepping in for Erin, and we would like to congratulate Erin and her husband Max, who have welcomed their baby girl into the world. I've got a message from Erin here. Mum, Bub and Dad are all doing very well. And let's have a look at that picture. Jerry, let's bring that up now because we have a little picture here that Erin provided us during the day today. That's the little foot of the new little baby, which is so exciting. And we're looking forward to having Erin back on the show very soon.
Erin and Max, congratulations from the Adobe Education Leaders community, the Adobe Creative Educators community, and of course, the wider Inject Creativity Live community.
For those of you who are with us live, we do encourage you to say hi in the chat, maybe pass on a little message to Erin and Max, share where you're from and add comments throughout the show.
Let's start this episode with an acknowledgement of country.
We respect and honour all Indigenous people from the lands we reach out to during this event. We acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We acknowledge them as the first educators and the first creatives, and we commit to building a brighter future together.
Now, you may have noticed I'm in a different environment today because I'm coming to you from the lands and the waters of the Cubby Cubby and the Jinibara people, otherwise known as the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia.
And I'm coming to you from the traditional lands of the Turrbal and Yagara peoples, otherwise known as Brisbane, Queensland, Australia.
And let's welcome our techie whiz and Adobe's Senior Customer Success Manager, Jerry Wong, to the stage. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, everyone. I'm also up in the traditional lands of the Turrbal and Yagara tribe, otherwise known as Brisbane, Queensland. I'm also doing events with Tim. During this episode, we will be enjoying a demo from the wonderful Juliette Bentley.
We'll be promoting the APAC Adobe Education Summit in September, as well as the International Adobe Education Summit in July.
And we'll be promoting a number of Adobe-related education resources and professional learning opportunities for you to take back to your schools, universities, and other places of learning.
We do hope you enjoy this episode.
And if you do, please share it with your colleagues and wider educational networks via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel and ignore the dog. Unfortunately, he's big.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live.
Well, Rob the Robot didn't ignore the dog, but ignored you. What were you going to say there, Juliette?
Just please forgive me. He seems to be a bit rattled.
That's all right. Probably because you're not giving it the attention that he normally gets from you at this time of the night. Now, I've got a... Oh, there he goes. See, he just confirmed that. I've got a little demo, and I'm going to just go and share my screen, but I'm just going to set that up first because there's another little feature here that I'd like to share with you, and making sure I'm on Adobe Express, which I'm there. Let's just share this screen now. Oh, sorry, Jerry, I think yep, that's all good. And what I'd like to do is show you this little quick action, which is all about creating a GIF Now, do you remember GIFs? They were really popular back in the early days of the internet, and they're still lots of fun. But if you've got a short little video and you want to convert to a GIF, it's actually quite a process to do that in Photoshop. It is possible to do it in Photoshop, but a bit of a process. So this is lovely to have this quick action called convert to GIF. Now I'm going to bring up my little screen pointer here so that we can see exactly where we're at. I've already logged into Adobe Express and into the try a quick action section, and I'm looking to convert to GIF, which would be video quick action. So if I click into video, you can see that we've got video convert to GIF. Here it is. So if I click on to convert to GIF, and I'm going to grab a short little video. It happens to be the intro for this show, just a cut down version. So I'm just going to show you what I've got here. It's a little 5.5 megabyte video that relates to the show. And I'm going to drag that little video into here where it says drag and drop a video. So now that I'm bringing that in, I don't have to do anything else. Oh, it's done already. There we go. So you're just using the power of the Wi-Fi, the internet that you've got there. What we have is a little GIF. Now, to share this, we could share it as a high quality large file or a medium quality or a small quality. I might, just to save time, I think it'll quicker if I choose small and then click the download button. And it's now making the conversion into a GIF. So if I open up my downloads folder, get that ready to go, we should be able to see it, and hopefully it won't take too long. I'll just prepare that in another screen. And we're just looking for this bar to go across. Now, Juliette, the advantage of turning a short video into a GIF is that you can then put it onto your website, put it onto your portfolio. You can play your video within the browser because a GIF is like a whole series of little still images put together, and they're looped. So it's a constantly looped little video. And so now that that process is done, I can go to my downloads folder. And there it is sitting there. So I might just open that up with a browser. Let me choose, because I'm on a Mac here, I'm going to choose Safari, just because it's the only other browser I'm not using at the moment for other things. And there it is. My little video has been converted into a GIF, and it's just sitting there on the top of the browser. Hey, it's a lot of fun. And if you're wanting to just keep working with your Chromebooks and your browser-based tools and have your videos looping through, it's just a nice little feature that you might be aware of. What do you think, Juliette?
I think that's great. And I must admit, I've been showing my students how to embed GIFs in their different Google Slides or PowerPoints. And it's wonderful to see them getting so much joy, but to create their own, how much better would that be? So I think there's a lot of room for exploration there.
Terrific. All right, let's hear from Clara.
Clara here from the Adobe Education team. I lead our global education community programs, and I'm excited to see you at the Apac Adobe Education Summit.
Thank you, Clara, for promoting the 2022 Apac Adobe Education Summit, which is happening on Wednesday, the 28th of September, a school holiday period for most of you in Australia.
Tim explains more in this clip.
Hi folks, the 2022 Apac Adobe Education Summit is being held on Wednesday, the 28th of September, which is a school holiday period for most of you. Dr. Tim Paxton, Australia's leading researcher and consultant in the field of creativity and innovation in education, will be our special guest. And you'll also be hearing from the global Adobe Education team, as well as Adobe Education leaders who will be sharing their classroom success stories, creative catalyst talks, as well as providing a range of practical workshops to help you make the most of your access to Adobe tools, especially the free Adobe Creative Cloud Express set of tools and resources. Register via adobe.ly/apac-edu-summit22 or scan this QR code. We are looking forward to sharing with you and your colleagues at the 2022 Apac Adobe Education Summit.
Now, Juliette, we've got a film festival to promote now. It's called the Regeneration International Short Film Competition, and it's happening in August. Originally, it was going to happen in June, but because of COVID, they've had to put it off a little bit, like many other things, and therefore it gives you and your students more time to get involved.
Tim and Rob put together this clip to share some more information about this.
And that's assuming that I can find that clip because it wasn't queued up the way it should be. So I'm just quickly looking. Here it is. Here's the clip now.
Hi folks, I'm Tim from Adobe.
And I'm Rob the Robot.
Get your cameras, microphones, tripods
And Adobe apps ready for the
Regeneration International Short Film Competition with Adobe. This competition is part of the 2022 Regeneration Youth Festival, which is focused on building a resilient and empowered future.
Tim, what do the students need to do to enter this competition?
Good question, Rob. The students need to organise a small group of preferably 3 to 5 and plan, film and edit a short film that goes for between 1 and 2 minutes based on the theme of building resilience and empowerment for creating the world we all wish to live in, with a focus on sustainability and a reference to at least one of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals.
Can it be an animation?
Sure can, Rob.
What about a mix of real life like me and animation like you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what do you mean like an animation like me? I mean, you're the animation in our relationship. There are 2 main age categories for this film competition. Years 5 to 9 students, about aged 10 to 14, and years 10 to 12 students, about aged 15 to 18. Winning entries from each section will be showcased at the Regeneration Festival at the Immigration Museum in Melbourne and live streamed out to those who live outside of Melbourne. The films, or animations, need to be edited with at least one of the following Adobe products: the new Creative Cloud Express, formerly known as Adobe Spark,
Which is free for all schools.
Adobe Premiere Rush,
Which is also free for all schools.
Adobe Animate, which is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud and available in most schools.
Premiere Pro, the ultimate video editing solution used by professionals and also available in most schools.
After Effects, which is also a full-on professional editing and video compositing tool.
My all-time favourite Adobe tool, Character Animator, for real-time animation. I don't know where I'd be without Adobe Character Animator.
You could even use Adobe Photoshop to help make your film or animation. A list of all the criteria and other information about how to enter can be found via this QR code. Take careful note that the registration form needs to be completed by a teacher.
Get involved in the Regeneration International Short Film Competition with Adobe.
And share how we can create the world in which we all wish to live in.
And Juliette, so far we have about 40 schools that have registered and over 1,700 students who are potentially going to be involved.
That's really exciting. Remember, this competition is open to any student from years 5 to 12 throughout Australia, New Zealand, and into Southeast Asia. So register your school to get involved.
Hi, I'm Tacey Trowbridge, head of Adobe's Thought Leadership and Advocacy. Thanks for watching Inject Creativity Live. And if you're excited about creativity, take a listen to the Creative Educator podcast.
Well, it's a delight to have Adobe Master Teacher for the Asia Pacific region, Juliette Bentley, with us for this episode, and she's going to present to you now. Over to you, Juliette.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. And whoops, the daisy. There we go. Sorry.
Just get that ready.
Thank you. No, I just got stop screen. I haven't got share screen.
Just
so
we can see your screen. We just bring up your slides now, Juliette.
Oh, lovely.
Or whatever,
fantastic.
Whatever you want to share.
Yeah. Okay. Going to. So recently, well, as recently as yesterday, I attended a professional development opportunity that was run by the Queensland College of Teachers. And we are all working with Australian standards, the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. For those of you who aren't in Australia, you're going to have your own districts and different countries, national standards, or maybe it's a district thing. But over the 32 years of teaching that I've experienced, it's been one of those things that we all take time to reflect on our practice. We all reflect and then become reflexive using that information to help us make better opportunities. I realized when I was at this professional development yesterday, which I would absolutely advocate if you get the opportunity to go to. I was looking at teachers supporting and supervising student teachers and mentoring beginning teachers. And frankly, I think I came away with a better understanding of what I should be doing as well for my own reflection. Now, ASTL does provide you with a reflection tool, but it's not a very flexible way of doing a reflection. And I thought it would be a really handy way to use a tool that I love in a way that might be more meaningful to me and provide me with some artifacts, some evidence of my own learning. We ask our students to create learning logs, but we actually have to think about doing that too. I mean, with teachers, we do work within different frameworks, and there are standards that we have to work with. Now, in this particular page that I've created, I've included a button to the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers digital copy. And that will take you, I'm not going to click out of it just because, but it takes you to this wonderful document that gives you lots of information. Now, as I said, this was made specifically for supervising teachers, but it's also an incredibly fantastic tool for us to be using for our own annual professional plans, our own reflections. We have to be participants in building a better understanding, a deeper understanding of those professional frameworks and the standards. This tool particularly, though, I think is great because it tells exactly what we're supposed to be doing and what we should be expecting our pre-service teachers to do. But if we're going to be mentoring and supervising students, we need to also be demonstrating those skills. So this document gives you very clear opportunities. And obviously it's not a checklist, but it does make you think. So it gives you some listings of artifacts that you might use as you look at each of the different standards. Now, we can't be across all of the standards all of the time. And the one I've chosen to showcase today actually comes from a piece of work that I did earlier in the year. And I'm going to draw attention to that. But I would like you just to note that all the standards are there. They give you what it is to engage with the standard, but more importantly, what it is to achieve an outcome from that standard, to actually see the learning that's taking place and the different strategies that teachers can use when they are engaging with the particular standard as well. So going back, in this particular PD, they gave us a wonderful color chart that we could refer to, and it got me thinking. And I was particularly interested at looking at not only creating this reflective log, but thinking about how just even making a graphic about one of those focus teacher professional standards that I come into contact with, how even just taking some time to manipulate it got me thinking about how I was demonstrating some of those things in my class, so that my students as well would be able to, my student teachers would be able to observe me and adopt or adapt to suit themselves. And using the Creativity Cloud Express, I was able to take the document, add using remove background, adding people, making sure the source was there. I can show my student teachers how to develop a resource, but also how to provide themselves with a product, an artifact that shows what they're doing. So I was looking particularly at the standard 1.4, which was looking at ways of learning and making sure that I was using appropriate content, strategies, activities, and resources, and making me think also about the approaches that I was using to also engage those students who might identify as First Nations people. But the richness isn't just in catering for them. All of my students are going to benefit from learning a different way of learning, because it will touch different people in different ways. And the 8 Aboriginal ways of learning are key to culture and key to understanding country. And if I want my students to be able to walk in reconciliation on a path of a shared land, I really need my students to also appreciate there are different ways of learning and they are equally as valid. And so this was a perfect opportunity for me to use Aboriginal voices, to use Aboriginal ways of learning. And this was a team effort across 2 departments, actually 3 departments, involving 3 teachers: religion, science, and psychology. And we looked at the psychology behind the ways that the 8 ways of learning operate. And my students then had the opportunity to come up with their own lesson where they had to teach using one of those. But what did it look like in practice? If I was going to look for evidence of me trying to do these things, I had to do something practical. And with my colleagues, I did. So we moved out of the classroom into a piece of land, a garden, a community garden. It's called Balangala Garden. And there is a button to the bottom where you can see that garden and all the information around it. But taking the students out of the classroom into the environment, getting them to think about where they find themselves in this landscape. Because if I was to ask them, look around you, what are you? Where do you find yourself? Are you the water that shapes and moves, that can be absolutely damning as it had been with the floods literally a week before? Are you the grass that gets smothered by that water, but when the waters recede, rebound? Or the rocks that don't change very easily, that have to be eroded into a shape and they take time to change? And just getting students to think about those rich discussions, it gave them the opportunity to think about the importance of things like totems, because totems are given at birth and they have family totems and personal totems and clan totems. And responsibility for that totem is important. And that tied into sustainable development goals and a range of other things. But gathering the artifacts and being informed by the standards meant that I was trying to make more meaningful connections, and really using the Creative Cloud Express has given me a way of reflecting on that. It gave me an opportunity to gather all of the information. I took the students out with my colleagues and we went and we found information, and all the information we used came from Aboriginal sources. Now, we were unfortunately unable to have an elder with us for this, but we had been in contact with them and we had permissions to walk through the land and to explore it. And so getting the opportunity to share that was really important. Students then went into creating their own memorial, drawing upon what they'd learned. They learned about how these things were used, and they understood and recognized traditional wisdom around the native flora and fauna and the significance of the understanding. Now, you can see what I've done here. I've highlighted, I've added, I've used images, and then I've finished off with a video, which I'm not going to play for you, but I will put the link, if you're interested, into the chat later. And there is a link there for the Balangala Community Garden. The thing I love about the Express is that it does the credits for me. So that's basically really all I wanted to say. I wanted to more or less say, have a look, choose a focus, maybe one a term. Get to look at the supervising papers, the magazine for the supervising teachers, because you'll get so much out of that for yourself, and then explore it, basically. I hope that's
good on you, Juliette. That's great, and a wonderful use of the fantastic Adobe Express set of tools. Let's hear from Tanya.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Aver from the Global Education team here at Adobe for Education. I'm so excited that you are watching Inject Creativity Live. Please check us out with the Adobe Creative Educator program and be on the lookout for all the amazing challenges that we have every month. See you soon.
Thank you, Tanya. Hopefully we'll connect with Tanya at the APAC Summit in September as well. We currently have over 1,650 Australian New Zealand teachers who have enrolled in at least level 1 of the Adobe Creative Educator course and over 50,000 globally.
Wow. If you'd like to be guided through level 1, Erin and Tim are running a big Creative Educator course on almost a monthly basis. Look up adobe.ly/Creative Educator for more information and share this site with your colleagues and wider education networks. The next opportunity is on Monday, the 20th of June, 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Of course, if you look up adobe.ly/ACE, you can do the Creativity for All course on the Adobe Education Exchange at any time on demand to get your ACE Level 1 badge.
The Creativity for All course is one of many great on-demand courses at the Adobe Education Exchange.
Other popular courses at the moment include student presentations with Adobe Express,
infographics with Adobe Express,
certifying Adobe skills in your classroom,
Adobe Analytics for teaching and learning,
digital painting and drawing in the classroom,
and Teach Creativity with Adobe and Khan Academy, and lots more.
When I was in the US in April earlier this year, I got to meet the wonderful Wesi Thundwa, who is the main host of the new student presentation with Adobe Express course.
Here's Wesi to explain more.
Want to help your students learn complex information? Then why not make learning visual with eye-catching infographics? By turning information into icons, symbols, maps, and charts, infographics are perfect for teaching students at all levels and topics at any level of complexity. Okay, let's get creating.
And of course, that wasn't Wesi, that was Claudio with the other infographics course, which is always wonderful. Here's Wesi now with her course.
At some point in their education, all students will be asked to give a presentation. And research shows that when your students are empowered to create, they become more motivated, more intentional, and successful learners. They gain a deeper understanding of content, they retain knowledge, they develop problem-solving strategies, and they improve their communication skills while they refine those ideas so that they can communicate them in more innovative ways. Okay, let's get creating.
And that's it, as is Claudio to the Adobe Education team in North America. Look, if you're on Facebook and you're not already a member of the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group, please join via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL.
Join us and keep regularly involved with Adobe in education and the wider community.
Let's bring Jerry back up onto the screen for the farewell. Adobe Education Leader Emeritus Chris Betcher, what's he doing, Juliette?
Adobe Education Leader Chris is going to be joining us for episode 68. He's going to...
Absolutely is. We're looking forward to having him back on the show.
It's
and young filmmaker Joseph Ho joining us for episode 69 to share how learning Adobe tools in his high school has helped to stimulate the start of his career, a little bit like what we heard earlier in the last episode with Blake Wilton.
That's fantastic. And for those watching live, get ready to move to adobe.ly/edu-meet-APAC for our brief fireside chat.
And do we have a banner about that, Jerry, just to help those people who are joining us live to get onto that link? Should be a ticker fireside chat. See if that comes up. Hopefully it will. Look, I want to thank Juliette. There we go. Good. I want to thank Juliette and Jerry for helping to put this show together. Here is Rob the Robot to sign off. Juliette, you got something else to share?
The next opportunity to join us for a recording of Inject Creativity Live will be on Wednesday, the 15th of June at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, with the special guest star, as we've already mentioned, Chris Betcher. So see you then.
See you later, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you then. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Inject Creativity Live. For those who are watching live, join us now via adobe.ly/edu-meet-apac for an informal, non-recorded fireside chat to meet and interact with our presenters and other audience members. During this informal chat, you will be able to complete the feedback form and apply for a professional development certificate. If you are not watching this live, join us live next time. Use this QR code or link to find out about dates and topics. And use this QR code and link to find out about other Adobe in Education professional learning opportunities. On behalf of the Adobe in Education team, keep being creative.